Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're gonna go ahead and be tackling our lower ball joints on my Duramax today. It is something that is really bad and it really has to get done. Not only just for maintenance wise, but for safety concerns as well. Ball joints are very, very important. And of course today is a Kroil sponsored video, so make sure you guys go ahead and click the link below that I have linked for you for a can of Kroil. You wanna get yourself some because this stuff is an absolute lifesaver when it comes to the rust belt and working on anything with your truck. Now, if you've watched my previous video of the upper control arms, obviously right now you can see we did not do the upper control arms yet. That is because I'm in the process of doing two videos at once. I'm gonna go ahead and I focus on those upper control arms, so I'll link that video below for you guys. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and show you exactly what we need to spray down for this Kroil. All right, so first things first, we need to go ahead and soak this nut on our tie rod because our tie rod has to come off. And yet, of course, you don't want to forget about your lower ball joint. Make sure you absolutely soak this thing really, really good. Now, when it comes to Kroil, you want to make sure that you go ahead and you soak your bolts down, you soak your nuts down. You're going to go ahead and let them soak for, say, 10 minutes, and then you can go ahead, go back and start taking them off, because when it comes to Kroil, you don't have to heat anything up. You simply apply it to the area, and you let the chemicals do the magic and let the magic happen. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and take our PPE tie rod off. This is gonna be a 12. So I don't wanna put a pickle fork in here because I don't wanna tear my boot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the top of this with a hammer. Now the only reason you can do that is because it's not threaded all the way up. And so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the top of this and I won't have to worry about damaging these threads. Next, we gotta take the brake caliper brackets off for the hose here, for the brake line hose. And we do have to go up in here and disconnect the ABS wheel speed sensor. And now this is where you're gonna want a little plastic pry tool and able to get these little plastic fittings out. They come off pretty simple, to be honest with you, all you guys. Just like that. All right, so now we gotta go ahead and take these right back here. These are the caliper bolts. These are gonna be, I think, a 21 millimeter. Here's one. All right, so now you got your caliper taken off. You're gonna take some wire and we're gonna hang it on the sway bar over here. And that's how we're gonna hang our caliper. Just like that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is how we're hanging our caliper. You don't want any tension on this, so make sure you just go ahead and keep this loose. All right, All right, so next step is we're gonna spray down our axle. We gotta do this. This is going to be a 36 millimeter right here. Let's see here. Yep, 36 millimeter. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off next. So that way we can go ahead then break loose this bottom nut, and start taking the steering knuckle off and take this whole thing apart so that we can get access to our ball joints. Get the big ugga-duggas and take this on. Smoking! Gotta love the smell of burned Kroil. Woo! It's a little warm. All right, so let's got this washer on here. Make sure you keep track of your axle nut and your washer when you're doing this. That's hot. All right, so the reason why we took it off right now is because it's just a lot easier once we break loose the lower and upper ball joints and we can take the steering knuckle off. We don't have to then futz with the axle nut. So it's a big important thing. Next, we're gonna go ahead, break loose the lower ball joints. All right, so this bottom nut here for the lower ball joint is going to be a 24 millimeter. Comes off just that simple. Let me show you guys real quick here. To the ground. Now this top one here, this is an 18 millimeter. I should be able to get it with just the wrench, which is pretty nice. All right, so at this point, there are all sorts of different ways that you can do this. I'm going to actually just take my ball joint separator and I'm just going to start smoking this from this end here, and hopefully that'll pop this up. And once it pops up, you can take your lower nut off here, which again, this was an 18 millimeter. If you guys missed that, this was an 18 millimeter. Once you pop it up, you'll then be able to take that off and your upper control arm will then be free. Just like that. All right, so here comes the fun part to access. You really get your lower ball joints. Now that we got that the top one taken off and loose, we're gonna go ahead now and, man, start smacking away again, because, whoo, that's all we can do. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah. Now take that nut off, the bottom one nut off the rest of the way. But keep in mind, this is going to come off, so. And the ball joint is spinning on me. So now we're going to have to get a channel locks and grip the shaft of the ball joint while you simultaneously take it off with the impact. Woo! Then now is, I forgot to record it, is once you got that bottom nut loose, you go ahead and take like a pin, a punch, whatever you want to do, call it, take a punch, stick it in there, hit it with your hammer, and it'll push the CV axle back a little bit, and that'll get your that'll drop the rest of your steering knuckle out for you guys. Now is the fun part. Now we get to go ahead and take this lower ball joint out, and that'll be pretty simple. All right, so you guys may have seen a few things here change. Now we're gonna go ahead, this lower ball joint that we got here, we're gonna go ahead and hit that with a ball peen hammer. And then once we hit that with a ball peen hammer, kind of break it loose a little bit, we're gonna take our ball joint service kit and push it through the rest of the way. All right, so we heated it up first before we put the ball joint press on there first. And we heat it up, and then we'll go ahead and put the ball joint press on it now, and it should pop out really easily for us. Heat it up, it's just gonna make your life a lot easier if you heat it up and expand that metal. All right, so this is how I have it all set up. I'm gonna go ahead and start cranking on this, and it should pop this ball joint loose for me. That's what I'm talking about, man. Woo! Harbor Freight, man, for the win. Never fails, dude. Harbor F Freight, dude. All right, so I'm gonna do a little comparison here for you guys, the new versus old. And I can't express you guys enough how awesome that Harbor Freight ball joint service kit is in regards to all the work I've done. I mean, it constantly wins every single time I use it. I'm gonna link it below for you guys, as well as those lower ball joints that we are using in this video with some coil, because those products, you just can't go wrong with, you guys. So let's go ahead and show you the before and after. Not really before and after, but let's go and compare them. So like I said, stay in this video is gonna be kind of weird because you guys have already watched this upper control arm video, but if you haven't, we're in the process right now of doing the other side, the passenger side, but no, driver's side. But make sure you go ahead and check this video out. I'll link this below as well for you guys. This was a heck of a video, needless to say. These are very impressive, but without further ado, these awesome lower ball joints from Kryptonite. Again, these are lifetime warranty. They come with the grease cert and everything you need right here, as well as the cotter pin for your castle nut. Again, these are a great quality ball joint. This guy, not so much. It's very used up. So we're upgrading, you guys, big time. Big upgrade with these ones. All right, so I'm going to show you guys here right now. This is the setup. There's a plate on the bottom here. There's a little top plate, and then the ball joint will just kind of suck on up for us. It works really nice. One thing I forgot to mention is you want to make sure that your grease zert, where your grease zert fitting is going to go, there's a little dimple here. I don't know if you can kind of see it right here. There's this little dimple, and that's where you want this to be facing. So now we're going to go ahead and get our grease zert in, and then we're going to pump this full of some grease. And then you guys, then we just got to put it back together and head on over to the alignment shop. So now that we got the grease zert on, we can go ahead and get the steering knuckle put back on this whole shebang, which means I got to cut my axle, my CV axle loose here. And now we can put the steering knuckle back on with our wheel hub. Oh. All right, so an important thing I want to point out here is right here, you can see that little hole. That is where your cotter pin's going to go. Now you don't want to loosen the castle nut and able to get that in. You need to tighten that castle nut all the way down and line up that hole so that way you can get that cotter pin in. Fun stuff, huh?
Super fun.
Super fun. And just like that, that cotter pin will slide right on in there. Now just spread that cotter pin apart and your lower ball joint is all taken care of, and now you start putting everything back together. Like I said, we're currently doing the upper control arm video as well as this lower ball joint video. So it's gonna be a really weird video on how this all works out. Bear with me on this. I will link below the upper and lower ball joint replacement that we did on the paperweight Duramax. Watch that video. It's a very good video. You'll learn a lot from it and how to do your ball joints. This one, I don't know how good it's going to turn out. I'll find out when I'm editing, but hopefully I covered the things I should have covered for you guys. Like I said previously, make sure you go ahead and check all your torque specs. I do apologize if this video was kind of all over the place. Hopefully you got something out of this video of watching how to do this upper control arm. Like I said, please, 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 please watch other people's videos as well. Don't just watch one video and go and do it, because you're not gonna remember a lot of steps. Watch a couple of people's videos, do it yourself. It's really not that hard of a task. It's just very time consuming. Keep in mind I am filming and stuff like that, but it's very time consuming. If you're doing it by yourself in your driveway, just figure your whole day. And if you get done early, say, hey, you got yourself a day which you can do whatever you want. So that being said, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit that bell button. It helps the channel out a lot. I appreciate all the support. And without a doubt, thank you so much to Kroil for hopping on the sponsor. It is a great journey that I'm having with Kroil. I'm so glad to have them on the channel, sponsoring videos like this. So make sure you guys go check out Kroil, whether you do it through Amazon or their website itself. They have a lot of information and a lot of different products out there. I will link everything below. But that being said, make sure you guys have yourselves a great night, and we'll see you in the next video.